Okay, so for this week, I'm going to just read the pick a side issue, and then I'll talk about what my opinion is. So it says an NBC News article, U.S. prepares for worst case scenario with Pakistan nukes, discusses the potential worst case scenario that could occur in Pakistan. One potential option would be for the U.S. to go in with special operations to snatch or secure Pakistan's nuclear weapons in the case of major instability in the country. Some would consider this to be a viable option, while others claim that this would lead to total confrontation between the countries. Imagine that there has been a coup in Pakistan and the government has been taken over by a hostile group. Should the US send in forces to secure weapons, or would this lead to confrontations that would cause more harm than good? For further information, just know that nuclear bombs are relatively safe to handle, so the likelihood of accidental detonation is very low, but if detonated, it would cause a catastrophe. So I just wanted, this is kind of a hard one to answer because both have like really have pros and cons. So like on one side you have this potential that you have the potential of getting involved into something that leads to total confrontation between, the countries, or you have another side where if you don't do anything, it could still lead to confrontation. So it's almost like a double-edged sword. So we have this, and so with Pakistan with nukes is a really touchy subject because the country is already very unstable in the first place. So I can definitely see why the US would want to go and take their nukes away, or like prevent them from using them, because this is a country that has had political instability, government instability. It's been very hard since the partition of India, and they have had a very negative government structure and a very oppressive government. And so I can definitely see how, in them having nukes might be a bad idea. But at the same time, I don't think the U.S. should be getting involved in foreign affairs. I think when we get involved, it causes a lot of problems. It causes political vacuums, like we saw when the British left India and then had set up that partition. We see that that when a foreign entity starts trying to control things, it causes more issues. So, in my opinion, I don't think that the US should get involved in Pakistan having nuclear power and having nukes at all until it starts to show like really intense problems. I mean, we have enough intelligence in Pakistan that I think that we would be able to know what was going on. I think that we need to kind of step back and let other countries make their own decisions about their own countries instead of the U.S. constantly getting involved and constantly taking weapons away, or the UN, and the UN doesn't really even do anything. So I just think that, in my opinion, that we shouldn't get involved in Pakistan unless we start noticing like attack plans or plans of declaration of war and stuff, and then the UN should convene about this. But I don't think that it's illegal for a country to have nukes. It's just illegal for the countries to use them, from what I understand from the United Nations charters, or not charters, sorry, the United Nations rules. And so that's just kind of what I'm thinking along the lines. It just seems to me that the U.S. is constantly getting involved in other nations, and it always leads to more warshed, more war, more bloodshed, and more contention, because everyone in other countries hate us already because we're so involved in them, in the Middle East. And I don't think that this would be any different. I think that they would say, well, if you have nukes and if you have the potential to blow us out of the water, why shouldn't we have that potential? And so I think that just getting involved in those kinds of affairs can be really touchy and really dangerous. And anyway, that's just my opinion. And I'll see you guys next week.